What is going on, RotoGrinders? Dean here. It's Dean 7904 if you want to get all technical. I mean, it's 5:30 on the dot on the East Coast, 2:30 on the West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time. Of course, that means it's time for the flagship show here at RotoGrinders. It's called Grinderslive. And joining me today, it's a very intimate show. It's just the two of us, Grant. And I didn't give a shout out to your time zone. My apologies. You're in Denver, so I guess it's 3:30. There you go. How about that? What's up, Grant? I see you got a fresh fade, or just is that a fade or just shave it all off? What's happened there?
It's a mohawk, sir.
Well, there you go.
I'm rocking it until we find a cure.
It looks like the blade just touched your head, like within the last couple hours. Can you confirm that?
It was last night.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's up?
The doctor did it.
Yeah, you said that. You mentioned that pre-show, and that's just so misleading. It's like you weren't like getting tested for a hernia, and it's like, well, wow, I'm here.
It's my doctor and tattoo artist, but I don't go to the doctor, and I don't get tattoos, so haircuts it is.
You don't have a tattoo artist then. You have a friend who does tattoos who happens to be a doctor, but you don't have a tattoo artist.
I mean, I can say I have a plumber, but I never have plumbing issues. I still know a guy. But
at some point that may come up. You're 30 at this point, give or take. I mean, you're either going to have a tattoo or you're not. Like, nobody gets their first tattoo at 30. I don't think.
My mom got her first tattoo at 55.
Oh, wow. Of what?
I can't even remember. It was in Vegas on New Year's.
Oh, boy. There's probably more to that story. It's not worth delving into.
She's a wild lady.
Grant, we have a monster slate today going down. Some weird stuff going on. Also, if you guys are playing on FanDuel, they moved their time to 6:30 because they want to accommodate that Washington game for some reason. Washington is currently playing the back end of that postponed game from a week ago or so where they couldn't get the tarp on the field. I'm a little bit concerned we're not going to get lineups to that game when the game locks, which kind of bothers me because I want to play Trey Turner. He's super cheap over there. I assume he's going to play, but I don't know. Strasburg's throwing baseballs, but he's probably not going to throw that many, maybe like 80, give or take. He threw 69 last time, which ironically not nice. No, it's not nice. You need more than 69 baseballs thrown at his cost. And also, we've had a couple pitchers scratched. I'm not sure if you're up on this. I assume you are, Grant. You're on top of this. You're a professional. But DeGrom has been scratched. He has that blister. And Frankie Montas, yeah, he's not going to go, unfortunately. He I don't know what the reason was. But Luzardo is super interesting because he's especially cheap on FanDuel, pretty good price on DK as well. But this slate has everything. Awesome arms, awesome bats, great spots. Jordan Alvarez is back. Aaron Judge still not back. Give me the screenshot because I just wish some of these pitchers are pitching in other days, to be honest, because there's a reason why we see some bad slates with bad pitchers because they're all pitching today, unfortunately. It's probably going to be gross tomorrow as well. Normally at this point in the season, they kind of get on different tracks, but that's not how it's going down. Before we delve into some pitchers, let's talk Sharpside app, tell the people what that is. And we were 2-0 yesterday. We were not the victory lap or anything, but I guess that's what we're doing. We gave you all the Cubs under. And what was the one you had, Grant? You had a winner or two. I think a basketball winner. That was
Squirrel Patrol that way. Memphis. What did I have? I think I had the Dodgers money line. I think I had the Dodgers under. No, over. I had the Dodgers over, it looks
Whichever one was the winner is what you had.
Yeah, all I know is my streak's at 2.
So we'll give the people a winner today. We're actually in agreement. We talked about this pre-show, and ours kind of sort of correlate.
Yeah. So, guys, if you haven't signed up for Sharpside, it's basically free money out there. All you have to do is lock in bets, swipe left, swipe right, swipe whichever way you like, and test your sports betting knowledge. Go with the streak contest, get 5, start making money for every correct pick you have after that. So get signed up, make your picks. My pick today, I believe, was it the Cubs? Cubs to win?
No, your pick today, I believe, was the Cubs pitcher, Chatwood, having more than 5.5 strikeouts.
That is the pick I wanted. I'm not sure what I sent Devin because I made multiple.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, Dodgers over. I'll just give out a few picks for you guys today. I already got Philly at plus 175, but now it's dropped to even money. So I'm pretty happy about that. I've got the Cubs to win. I got Chatwood over 5.5 Ks. I got the under on the Cubs game, the over on the Diamondbacks game, and I think that's it. I think that's the bets I got, guys. So go ahead. Get those in and get some free money. They're all going to hit. It's pretty much a guarantee, except for it's not a guarantee.
Well, it's not. It's definitely not a guarantee. These are educated guesses, and we're trying to get some edges here and there. But
I am the greatest in the world, though.
Well, I mean, that's up for debate, I suppose. Milwaukee is playing Chicago. 8 is the total. Like the under in that game. We liked it yesterday. Of course, Yu Darvish was pitching in a no-hitter going into the 7th inning, I believe. Gave up a home run to somebody. Or not a home run, a run? Doesn't matter. They were great. It was like 4-2 or 4-1. Bryant was a late scratch. He's not in the lineup again today, so that weakens at Chicago side. Woodruff is a stud. Chatwood, you're going to talk about Chatwood, and he's sort of a conflicting pitcher for me, but that Milwaukee lineup is.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're talking about then.
Well, we'll expand on that soon enough. And in a slate that has a lot of good pitchers, I don't know if I'm going to play much Chatwood, if any at all. But we fire up Kevin Ross Weather Edge once again in 112 games. 112 games in this weather, in this ballpark in Chicago. We've seen negative 26.9% as far as homers, negative 9.2% as far as runs, and a negative 8.4% as far as ERA. Really, really positive pitching environment. A Chicago offense that's not very good. A Milwaukee offense that's even worse. Milwaukee's got a solid pen. They have Woodruff as well. I feel pretty good. If you can get an 8.5, that's really lovely. I saw it in one spot earlier today, but apparently it's about 8 pretty much everywhere. But that's kind of how I feel about that one. I like the under once again in that game. Anything else that's worth talking? Oh, there's also some weather issues in a couple other games. Roth just updated his weather, and I'm just going to be saying some words to buy some time as I'm pulling the link up. But I'm not sure if you saw the update from Roth. Of course, Kevin Roth is on Crunch Time. He'll be joined later today with the.
I like that Kevin Roth guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah, he's not so bad. You got Cardi, you got Tuttle, you have Roth. They take you guys all up the lock, and Roth will give the most up-to-date update as far as weather. As of right now, I'll go ahead and drop this link in chat for the YouTube people. What's up, YouTube? Feel free to like and subscribe. Smash that. What is your adjective of choice, Grant, when hitting the like button? Do you like to smash it, pounce on it?
Pound it. Pound that like button.
You got to hit it an odd number of times, though, I believe. Because if you keep doing it, it goes away. How does that work? 3 times, 5 times? Okay, just one. One pound.
I hit it and quit it.
We have Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. It's yellow-orange, so you want to keep an eye on that. You guys can read it for yourself. It's in the chapter. Kansas City, Minnesota, even worse, orange-yellow. If you want to know, Ross, the decoding of the colors, yellow. When yellow is in front of orange, that means it's more yellow than orange. If orange is in front, orange is the dominant color, meaning it's a little bit scarier. So a little bit scarier in Minnesota as opposed to Cincinnati.
If it's yellow in the back, then you probably got some medical issues.
Well, it's a good thing you have a doctor. Well, while you're there taking care of that haircut, if you can take a look. All right, Grant, we have no time for shenanigans, no time for nonsense. This is a monster slate. So many good pitchers, so many studs going. Garrett Cole against this terrible Boston lineup. Kershaw, not the stud he once was, but and I probably can't get there. Well, hey, let me ask you, wait, hold on a second. I'm just now noticing this on DK. How is Meryl Kelly the third most expensive pitcher? That is egregious. Who's doing the pricing on DK? That's wrong, right?
I would assume it's not right.
Well, it is. I mean, it's factually correct, and I know he's pitched well this year, but
he's got a 1.3% walk rate this year, Daniel.
Oh, well, great. He should be 15K.
Dude's getting ground balls.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Grant, but we live in the world of a salary cap, and we have tons of Coors Field game that has a 12.5 total. At least one side has a pitcher that probably shouldn't be in the major leagues. Boston's got an entire rotation of pitchers that are horrendous. They're facing the Yankees a total over 6. There is no Judge, but that lineup still carries plenty of pop. So I want to delegate plenty of funds to my bats. I feel like we're getting big scores today. We're going to get some big scores in pitchers and big scores in hitters. And again, getting these guys under the cap is kind of sort of tricky. Garrett Cole, most expensive pitcher, taking the bump tonight. I like him, but he hampers me to some degree. Now, there is a way to make Cole work because we have a 4K cheapie that's probably underpriced when you consider the pedigree. We'll talk about him soon enough. But talk to me about Garrett Cole.
Full on fade.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, I would like to. I mean, yeah, he is going up against Boston. Boston is not the team that we've known in the past in terms of hitting. Cole is a phenomenal pitcher. He's got great stuff. His stuff hasn't been as great this year, but it's not something we expect to continue him not being what he was last year. Although going away from Houston and not being able to cheat anymore probably takes a little bit of a downgrade, but who knows? I'm not.
Well, they were cheating when they were hitting. They weren't cheating when they were pitching.
No, you don't know that. They just didn't get caught.
Well, what's a garbage can going to do with telling the other people? Do you have
any idea how distracting garbage cans are? If you're just someone's hitting a trash can while you're trying to hit, very easily distracted. Plus, who knows?
I think you're going down a wormhole.
Well, they also had boobs in the audience there.
That was in the World Series game. I believe you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so who knows what they set up? We don't know the full extent. But in any case, Cole, he's fine. Like, he's going to do well. He's probably going to put up a pretty decent score. I'm not going to be surprised whatever he ends up with. And he does have the highest upside on the slate, but I don't care. It does not matter to me because I'm not playing him. I'm not going to talk you off. He's probably your SB1 for cash because you can pay up for him and get a very good one for SB2 at a really cheap price. But yeah, I'm full on fading him. My pool is about 4 guys deep at the moment.
A couple of things. We'll get those guys in a second. And that Boston lineup, well, I mean, it's not that intimidating these days. They are pretty contact heavy. Collectively, they strike out just 19.4%. Only 3 guys with 28.8% or higher as far as their K percent. Of course, Cole strikes out 38.7% of dudes since last year. By the way, took a peek at the chat. Is that the Kyle Murray in chat? And if it is, he has a question for you. Either way,
quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals?
That's Kyler Murray. You're confusing your Murrays. He wants to know if this is the Kyle Murray that I'm thinking of. Remember, we had breakfast with him in Nashville, like 3 o'clock in the morning.
We did have breakfast with him. It was delicious.
He wants to know if that's a perm or all natural. You put juices and berries in there, or is that natural?
No, this is just my hair.
Okay.
Don't know where it came from, but it's here.
Yeah, so, I like Cole. I'm not sure how much I'll get just because of and they're talking to me about Chatwood too. And they're saying I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I said, hey, I like the under in that Chicago game, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to play Chatwood. And we'll talk about that. I'm not saying he's a bad play. It's just that the nature of the slate, there's plenty of other options that are pretty good. Kershaw, he's perfectly fine. Not the guy he once was. Give him a lot of hard hits. He's facing an Angel team that's, back end's not very good, but overall they're contact heavy. The price is too much. He's fine. I'm not going there. I'm assuming he's not one of your 4. I'm assuming Kelly's not one of your 4. Gray's kind of sort of somewhat interesting. Of course, there are some weather issues there. If you want to keep an eye on that, hit up Roth on it. Feel free to cut me off if you have any thoughts on Kershaw or Gray.
Nope.
That's a no. Yeah. Odorizzi how is Odorizzi this expensive? There's weather issues there as well, too, and I just don't think I want to play Odorizzi. Savali, contact heavy against the Detroit team that strikes out a good bet. He's pretty pricey. Is he on your list? Any thoughts as far as Savali?
No. Like, he's fine. I have no problem playing him. He's 9.3K. I think there are obviously guys I would rather go with. But nice. We got the San Diego Padres lineup out, and it's exactly what I wanted. But he's I have no problem. Detroit's obviously not that great. There's some strikeouts there. He's got some decent stuff. I have no problem playing him, but I'm not playing him.
Yeah, that's kind of sort of where I'm at, too. And I don't make as many lineups. I don't want to say it's you because I don't know how many you're making tonight. But generally speaking, I think you probably make more lineups than I do. Savali, going back to last year, kind of an average strikeout pitcher, 22.8%. But if you pull up the plate IQ, and I think you're doing the screen share, Grant. Are you in screen share right now?
I am, and I can pull up plate IQ.
Show the people and show them the benefits of plate IQ because honestly, I use this tool all the time. And the strikeout guys for Detroit, it is immense leading off.
If we're looking at just this year's stats, Savali has a 31.1% K rate, a 2.27 xFIP, and every Detroit hitter has a 20 or above % K rate versus righties.
Well, with the exception of, I believe, Castro, who's got 0%. He's at 4 at-bats, so that doesn't really count. Come on, I'm a sample size guy, and let's stretch back to last year. I understand Savali's changed a little bit too because he's a young pitcher, contact guy, but I guess there is some upside as far as Ks. I wish he was a little bit cheaper. I wish he was on a different slate. But
as of right now, I have none of them, but there's a decent chance that he ends up into some of my lineups. Maybe not on FanDuel or Draftkings, but on some other sites. I definitely will probably have some exposure to him.
Denison Lumet is kind of sort of someone interesting. The problem with him, he's
going to get crushed.
Well, he's not going to get crushed.
He's going to get crushed.
Word on the street, my doctor told me actually that my doctor / tattoo artist told me that Lumet, it's going to be the roof's going to be open in Arizona. Can you confirm that or deny that?
I can confirm that, and I was the one that told you.
You were my doctor / tattoo artist?
Yeah, I am. I'm your nutritionist. I'm your doctor. I'm your tattoo artist.
You're a terrible nutritionist. The results speak for themselves.
I'm your main go-to for girl talk. We have girl talk every night, me and Dean.
You have a lady friend coming over tonight. Can you confirm or deny?
I do have one.
And you're cooking dinner? Yes?
I am.
And what are you making?
A prosciutto sandwich, lemon ricotta ravioli, garlic parmesan bread.
Sandwiches? That's what we're doing?
That's part of it. Okay, it's goat cheese, it's prosciutto, on toasted ciabatta. It's a good sandwich.
All right.
Pairs nicely with the ricotta lemon ravioli.
You're going all Rachel. Did you watch like an episode of Rachel Ray on Me or something? Like what? Yeah. How do you know about the pairings and stuff? Where'd you read that at?
I there's a few things I know how to cook. It's meat and it's sandwiches and Italian food. I don't know why, but all those three make sense. Everything else, I'll burn the house down.
I figured there'd be a little Ron Swanson in you. I can definitely see that, big fan of the meat. Let's work our way down as far as other pitchers kind of throwing. Yeah, I mean, Lumet, he's going to throw maybe 85 pitches or so. Great K guy. And again, I prefer that dome close there. And I'll keep saying the same thing. I wish it was on a different slate. I wish it was a little bit cheaper. I think he's fine. I'm not going to discourage it. If you're MMEing, for sure, get yourself a couple shares. Why not? But let's talk about Chatwood, because you try to sell me on Chatwood pre-show, and I mean, I didn't necessarily fully wave you, but I mean,
you straight up did. You kept saying he's trash.
I didn't say trash. I don't know if maybe I was just trying to be like hyperbolic, just to kind of get your goat.
I mean, maybe you did. Who knows? But I am definitely angry. Look, on the season so far, he has a 2.99 xFIP, a 35.4% K rate. He's much better versus lefties versus righties because of a few of his out pitches. He's going up against a Milwaukee team that's just absolute trash right now. Look at those numbers for this year. Outside of Sogard and Arcia, everyone strikes out a bunch. But if you go back to last year, it's still pretty much the same. Like, this is not a great lineup. It's a decent K lineup. Chatwood got absolutely demolished in his last start, but he had a 750 BABIP. Realistically, he did not pitch that badly. He was chalk, so it means everyone's going to have recency bias. Everyone's going to fade. Currently pegged at 4% ownership. Last season, second half of the season, his walk rate dropped all the way down to 8%. And when he did that, his K rate bumped up to 29% for the second half of the season. The dude has legit stuff if he has things under control. And right now, it looks like he has it under control. Currently a 6.2% walk rate on the season, going up against a team that really doesn't have a ton of walks in it outside of Sogard and Yelich that know how to work the count. They're both lefties, though, and he has some great out pitches going against them. I think he has a 40% K rate almost going against lefties so far this year. Yes, it's a small sample size, but 100% Chatwood is my favorite pitcher on the slate. I'm very close to lock buttoning him over on DK, and I'm probably going to have 50% exposure to him and one other guy over on FanDuel.
Yeah, stretch it back to last year, 24.9% K percent. He had walk problems, 10.5. I know you skewed the sample size, and there are some guys that walk on this Milwaukee team. I know they strike out a ton, but you got Sogard leading off. He's a big pass, doesn't strike out, walks a good bit. Yelich will take a walk at 14.5%, as will the Smoke Monster at 15.2%. There are some Ks lower than I think it has been throughout the season at 23.8% as far as their collective K percentage. By the way, Bobby, old friend Bobby's in chat saying, you never cook for him. What up with that?
Yeah, because we always ordered Postmates.
Well, I mean,
I brought him food fairly regularly.
Did he not reciprocate? Was like if you
yeah,
know, like,
we pretty much every time we hung out
more often than not.
Hey, we ordered a lot of Postmates between the two of us whenever we hung out.
All right, fair enough. I'm just trying to stir the pot and get you in trouble. Yeah, I saw a question in chat, by the way. What was the Chatwood? Yeah, so Chatwood or Woodruff? That's my issue, because the price, it's not like we're getting a big discount on Chatwood, and there's these real, like, legit pitchers. Not to say Chatwood's not a legit pitcher. He's a pitcher. He throws baseballs, yada, yada. But, I mean, give me Woodruff over Chatwood, but it's basically the same price. No?
Well, there's a pretty big difference between these two.
Yeah, Woodruff's distinctly better.
What's their ownership projected at over on DK?
I don't care.
4% compared to 33% over on DK, and I think it's more extreme than that over on FanDuel. I think Chatwood's projected at 1% ownership over on FanDuel. Let's see, double checking. If you guys haven't already signed up for premium, go ahead and do that. Over on FanDuel, makes a little bit more sense. Woodruff's only at 10%, while Chatwood's at 2%. I still prefer Chatwood at slightly less money. I still prefer Chatwood straight up over on DK for points. I still prefer Chatwood in every single sense. I like Woodruff, but I'm not going to eat that ownership. And with the pricing over on FanDuel, I'm going to go with Chatwood.
Are you showing ownership right now with the lineup HQ? Is that you're showing off right now?
Yeah, if you guys go to the starting lineups page and you have our projections there, we have our ownership there, we have the totals. It's literally, if you don't have much time for research, just go here and you can pretty much do everything. Back in the day, before I worked for RG, I still use this page, and I still just look. Some days, if I had 20 minutes, I'd make lineups just with this on one screen, and then Draftkings everything on the other screen. And that was how I avoided doing my job back then.
You were a hell of an accountant.
I was a great accountant. When you get stuff done early, you have plenty of time for daily fantasy sports.
The chat wants to know what you're drinking.
Just water.
Oh, all right. Was it a rough night last night?
No. I did have a full bottle of wine, but that's just for my heart and to keep the Rona away.
You drink a full bottle of wine like just nightly, and that's a chill night?
No, I do that. Like occasionally I have people over, and like probably once a week we'll just sit out by the fireplace, and between me and two other people just pound 3 bottles of wine because we're classy.
Yeah, sure. This is the boxed or this is the bottle?
I've got a full wine cellar, sir. You know this.
Well, I know that you've been buying. You're up like late at night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just like buying wine, and that's hey, to each his own.
Yeah, I'm classy.
Let's work our way down as far as other starting pitchers. Lance Lynn, that's a no-go for me. Woodruff is cheaper than Chatwood. Like, that's ridiculous. Obviously, like you said, you can make the case as far as ownership. I was looking for umpire data, but we have a lot of new series on Friday, so the umpire data comes in very, very late.
Wait. Do you want to do a beer chugging bet? What was our beer chugging bet like yesterday?
I don't have any beer in the house, and I don't want to make a special purchase just for
you. Like you can have it on layaway for when you have beer in the house.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, that's not even that extremely of a. Yeah, Woodruff's going to outscore Chatwood.
Chatwood's going to outscore Woodruff by 10 points.
That's egregious. Whatever, man. We'll do a chug beer bet for that. That's fine.
Boom. What was ours yesterday? I don't even remember. Anyone in the
chat
chat
remembers?
Won it,
whatever it was.
It was probably ridiculous.
All right, so let's kind of work our way. Luzardo is 7.8K on DK. He's like 6'4" on FanDuel. I really am appealed into that FanDuel price. Even the DK price is pretty good. Luzardo, really solid arm. So he wasn't supposed to pitch today. Montas was scratched. He is on 4 days rest, which is quote unquote normal rest, but his rest has been all over the place. I think one day I was in the bat chat talking to Derek Carty. How about that? There's a name drop for you. Derek Carty will be on the premiere show after us. Crunch Time is what the kids call us. He'll give you some clarity as far as Luzardo. And there is some concern there as far as how many balls he's going to throw. 80, 85, 90. He's not a guy that typically gets to 100. Although, did he get to – am I thinking of somebody else? Every once in a while they'll let him go. But, Oakland, they kind of baby their arms. I'm trying to see what he went last time because I feel like it was a big number last time. I'm stalling. 89 last time, which is respectable. I'll take 89 baseballs at 7.8K or like 6.4 on FanDuel, especially in San Fran. I know that ballpark's been playing more hitter-friendly these days, but I think Luzardo's a pretty solid pitcher. What is your take as far as Luzardo versus San Fran?
I'm out.
Because
I don't need to. If I'm going to pay that low, I mean, I get that he's going to have drastically lower ownership than what's his name, but it doesn't even matter. Like if I need to save 2 more K if I'm going to go that way, or I'm going to go up to my other guy. Which did we already go over him?
Which guy is that?
Pitches in Houston, sir.
I didn't mean to skip over him, but I may have. That was not intentional.
Well, it's all right.
Valdez.
I don't blame you. Yeah, Valdez is my number 2 guy. Like, I'm going to pull up.
He's the guy that threw over 100 pitches last start, I believe.
It might have been 2 starts ago, but yeah.
103 last start.
Okay, yeah. So Valdez, like, he's going to probably get there with the amount of pitches. He's going up against Seattle. We pull plate IQ. We look at the bats here. Going up against the lefty, like, there are some guys that are decent, but there's definitely some Ks in this lineup. White is a guy that's going to strike out a lot. They're going to have 3 to 4 lefties in the lineup, and then the rest of the guys still strike out at a decent rate. Like, he is a very good pitcher going up against a very poor lineup here. He's going to go very low owned, and he has absolutely huge upside. He's a perfect pivot off of Woodruff over on DK because their price tags are so similar. I think he's $200 more expensive. And he's going to come in at less ownership by a pretty drastic margin. He has a better chance for the win. Yes, he's playing in a worse ballpark because of the wind coming in. But Valdez is my second favorite pitcher on this entire slate.
His K rate since last year, 29.4%. That's pretty electric. He does walk a few too many guys. 9.5% walk rate is not positive. Collectively, the San Fran lineup walking at 7.5%. Ruff will take a walk. Longo as well. Yaz leading off. Yaz looks legit, by the way. Turning into a real thing. And they don't strike out a lot. That's the problem, too, especially at the top.
It's also not that great of a ballpark anymore.
Well, we don't – yeah. I mean, look, it's small sample size stuff, but it seems like the ballpark's playing much more hitter-friendly with the way – they are sort of blocking stuff, and they don't want fans lurking in San Fran with what's going on. So I'm a little hesitant with that, but the FanDuel price is so cheap. The problem is there's a monster opportunity cost, but the other part of it is like I love so many bats tonight that are expensive, so it's kind of it's an interesting push-pull that I'm trying to figure out. Working our way down, there's a lot of guys here we can't play. Well, you stop me. Junis, can't play him. I think maybe Lopez, I suppose.
Lopez is one guy that's definitely going to be in my lineup. It's mostly just because it's his price tag. Like, I need someone in that range because there's a pretty decent drop-off from Valdez down to Howard. So I need someone kind of in the middle range. He's sitting at 6.9K, so if I can't get quite up to Valdez, then I'm going with Lopez. It's being played in Miami. Like, that lineup isn't as great as it always is. Obviously, Cuna's not in it, and Albies isn't in it. There are some strikeouts in there. Pablo Lopez is actually a pretty decent pitcher. He's pitched well so far this year. So he's definitely a guy that is going to be on my radar. And I don't know how – right now I have 3 pitchers that I've used. I've only used Valdez, Chatwood, and Howard, and those are the only 3 pitchers I used so far. Woodruff may make his way in if I don't feel as ballsy as I do right now.
Play some Woodruff.
Huh?
Play some Woodruff.
Yeah, you did. I as of right now, I don't have him in there, but he may make his way in. Savell might make his way in there. If I have way too much money, Cole might make his way in there. But realistically, I have 3 that I'm playing right now.
And that Atlanta lineup, we always talk about the Braves. You don't want to pick in that lineup because they're super contact heavy. There is still some contact guys, but Duvall's in there and Riley's in there. Duvall at 34.5%, Riley at 35% as far as striking out. Lopez, not a big K guy, 20.7% positive ballpark there in Miami. If you want to save some salary, of course, you don't want to see Marquez. He's a contact guy. Freeman's guy, makes contact and he has a lot of power too. And Inciarte is another contact guy, but a little bit more strikeouts in that Atlanta lineup than we're used to typically, historically. Let's work our way down. Kikuchi against Houston. We talked about him a few starts ago when we were really in a squeeze and a pinch. This slate, we're not in a squeeze. We're not in a pinch, so I'm not on it. The only other guy I think it's worth talking about here, and you feel free to tell me otherwise, it's got to be Howard versus the Mets. He's 4K on DK, specifically on DK. You can do it on FanDuel too. I think there's a little bit more opportunity cost over there because, you have the 2 starting pitchers. You can kind of get an elite guy. You can get Howard. You get a ton of bats as well. Who is Spencer Howard? I saw somebody asking about who's Spencer Howard in chat. He's Philadelphia's #1 prospect. I believe like number 25 or 25% in baseball, so there is some pedigree there. He wasn't good his first start, but, betting on the talent, betting on the arm, who knows what he's going to be. But, he's a 4K guy, and as your standard 4K guys go, I will take the upside of Howard versus the general 4K guy.
Yeah, no, he definitely has some upside. He's got some decent stuff. Yes, the Mets lineup is a little bit tough here, but it's not anything to just go crazy about. It's not a great ballpark. It's about league average, and it's 80 degrees out there, which probably doesn't help. But Howard is 4K. It's just that simple. Like, he is the best point per dollar play at pitcher on the board in all likelihood, and he makes things work on a night where there's a lot of good bats.
All right, summarize pitching for me.
Lock in Chatwood. He's gone for 35 today. Valdez is going for 30. Howard will put up a respectable 18, but that could be done.
Chat saying Chatwood is scratched. I hope that's true.
I will
be so sad.
I will.
I don't know if this is true or not.
This better not. I'm going straight to Twitter. But Valdez, Chatwood, and Howard are the top 3 pitching options on the entire slate. If you don't want to go with them, then Savell or Woodruff is not bad. Probably going to be a bit. Gosh, I don't see anything.
Well, producer Devin, let us know if you can take a second and do a little search there on the Twitter machine. If Chatwood is in, Chatwood is out. I'm sure if it is happening, the RG account will tweet it out soon enough. But all right, let's move on. Let's talk about some catchers. That's always a fun position. What do you have for me?
Chatwood's out.
Oh no! Are you just gonna unregister everything? Is that it? Do you have that wine close to you by chance?
No.
Well,
now my underbet looks like trash too.
Yeah, that's not so. Mine too. I don't know is Kerry Wood going to come in? Who's going to pitch there for the? It's
Alec Mills.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. Who's? Gosh. Well.
So is our bet still on? Woodruff's got to get a -10, otherwise you lose.
I assume this is normal scratch rules. I can chug a beer next show. We have.
Yeah, that's fair.
Doesn't matter to me at all. I need to, before I forget, I guess I'm going 100% Valdez because FanDuel starts 10 minutes after the show.
Yes, we got to screen. Well, that's just the Washington game. You don't have to lock anybody in there. Although I like Turner, he's super cheap against Baltimore, probably getting 5 ABs, but I'm assuming he's starting, but I don't know. And I imagine right now they're playing in the suspended game, and they're probably like in the 7th or 8th inning, and we're not going to get a lineup. Good job, FanDuel. I'm not angry about that at all. Can you tell?
I have no idea. I'm
a little tilted.
I'm slightly flustered right now. I'm very angry and slightly flustered.
You know what helps with that is talking about catchers. People love talking about catchers.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm going to go and pull up our starting lineups or our expert survey.
What's in there? There's something like catchers.
Expert rankings, whatever. Gosh, again, I'm very flustered and I have a lot of work to do right after this is done.
You are so derailed.
Oh, gosh.
You can take Chatwood out like after 6:30. You realize that, right?
Yes, I'm going to have a lot of, I also have to update expert rankings. I have to do a lot of things. So Devin, take me off screen share.
That's it. The screen share is over.
But in any case, catcher like Mathis is sitting there in what's it called? In Coors. Gosh, darn.
What is going on?
We don't have to worry about weather too much. Garver's now the top option on the slate since Chirinos is no longer in the lineup or was never in the lineup. Garver's probably the top option on the entire slate. I really like Sanchez in this matchup. I like a lot of the Yankees. I don't think they're going to be as heavily owned as they should be. Vote. He's a great play. I'm a big fan of both the catchers and both all the batters, at least, in that San Diego versus Arizona game. I think that I have the over on that game of 8.5, and I think it's probably going to go 15 total runs. I think that it's just going to be an absolute crazy game with the dome open, and I don't think either of these pitchers are as good as they have been so far this year. So
if you want to get it in and out as cheap as possible, a catcher, Sandy Leon's $2K on DK.
Yeah, he's definitely too cheap.
He's terrible.
He's not great. I know I'm playing Valdez, but it's more for strikeout upside. But Nola's 3.1K, and the dude has a little bit of pop. He's one of the main guys I'm actually concerned with in that lineup. Perez is 4.5K, but yeah, that's pretty much it for catcher. Like, round out your stack, and if you have the money, pay for Garver. If you don't, or Sanchez, if you don't, go down to vote. If not, just punt with Leon.
I thought we were going to get like that benefit that Jacob deGrom was supposed to start today for the Mets, and I thought like players would be priced to face deGrom on DK. They do that sometimes, right? And I was like, oh, we're going to get a cheap JT Realmuto because now he's facing Walker Lockett, and he's 5.3K. So much of that theory. It didn't work out. Maybe that's cheap because he banged out 2 homers yesterday. Of course, you can the Philadelphia side's pretty positive there against Walker Lockett, and Gary Sanchez against the Red Sox bullpen essentially. Sure. I like that New York side. I know he has not been great. It's basically been homers or nothing else, but there's plenty of pop in that bat. And I just think that Red Sox bullpen is a disaster. Yesterday, they had two guys that are non-pitchers pitch. The first one was hit on the shin, and they knocked him out, and the Plawecki closed out the game as their pitcher. But all right, let's move on to first base. And well, are we going to continue the pain with Rhys Hoskins? We're going back there? Is he still your boy?
I have no problem with going with Reese's Pieces, but Matt Olson's the top play on the slate. Really like Oakland bats, specifically the power bats. Cueto should have probably retired already.
I love watching Cueto pitch and all his gyrations and his different he changes of speed, changing of delivery. He's got to be annoying to hit against.
He's going to get hammered tonight, though. He's just going to get absolutely crushed. Olson's the top play on the slate. Alonso probably going to go a bit too under-owned, and you get a little bit of leverage off of off of Howard. In any lineup that you don't have him, I really like Alonso. Cleveland guys are too cheap. Cleveland's a great stack, and Santana's a fantastic play at 4.3K. Then, of course, we got Coors with Murphy and McMahon. It's Coors.
Who's your favorite Coors first baseman?
Probably Murphy. But also off the board play, I like the Miami stack. I know they're playing in Miami, but Wright is not a good pitcher. He is definitely not a good pitcher. And Miami has some pop. They're going to go very under-owned. A lot of them are very cheap. So Aguilar is a great play today.
A lot of power in his bat. It's hard to click that button, but I hear you. I think it's their home opener for what it's worth. I'm pretty sure it's the first game being played in Miami. Of course, they were not playing baseball for a while. Anything else that's worth a shout out here as far as first base? Carlos Santana's pretty cheap. Voit, I think, is Voit batting second tonight for the Yankees? I believe he is. If that is the case, well, either way, yeah, I like Voit versus like the aforementioned Red Sox. I like the Yankees a good bit. Their team total did drop. I presume that's because of a Judge not being in there, and they may have projected. It was at like 6.2, and now it's at 5.66. Still pretty strong as far as that number. The Polar Bear, I don't mind Alonso if you think, Spencer Howard's just not quite ready for TV. Sure, why not? But I like Reese again. And the chats talk about Reese being broken. And again, if you look at his, you dig into his analytics stuff, he's hitting the ball hard. He's just not getting lucky. I don't know if he has any barrels yet, like close to. He's hit warning track a couple times. It's happening. It's coming. I'm going to keep going back there. Martingale style. I might go broke on it, but he's due, as the kids say. Keystone position, second base. What do you have for me?
Odor, top option on the slate. He's playing in Coors, playing against a not very good pitcher. It's 5.1K. Don't care. Absolutely worth it. Solak, also in the lineup. Really like him. McMahon, again, you can play him at second. Cronenworth is way too cheap. And again, I love the Padres today. Cronenworth is an absolute. Is he in that lineup? I know we got that lineup right before the show. I'm just double checking to make sure that.
I know Chadwick Trump is. I don't know if Cronenworth is.
Cronenworth is in that lineup. I think he's batting seventh, so he's way too cheap. Probably one of my top options on the entire slate. Second base, Altuve is not bad. Freeman, I think he's in the lineup and he's a little cheap. So is Van Meter, but Cronenworth, and then Coors guys are pretty much where I'm going, or I'm rounding out a stack.
Yeah, Hampson's really cheap on FanDuel at 3K, he's 4K on DK, and at Coors Field, team total close to 6. But I mean, I think Lance Lynn is really good. Well, I mean, he's been very good against righties. Lefties, he's super vulnerable. I'm lower on Coors. I'm lower on Colorado today, I think, than most. I hope that doesn't bite me, but I like the Texas side a good bit. I think the guy they're facing is just he got super lucky last time out. He probably shouldn't be in the majors. You're locked in for 9 innings. I feel really, really good about Texas. Like them to win that game too. I know it's we already gave out one winner, but minus 136. It takes the Texas side on that facing Colorado. What's your general stance today as far as Coors? Do you have a thought?
I'm playing Texas bats. I'm not playing Rockies bats.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well too. I see Captain Jenks in the chat. Oh, he used to listen to him on Howard Stern all the time. Not sure if it's the same guy or not. Twins Royals game. What's up with the weather? Kevin Roth, chief meteorologist. He'll be on crunch time in let's say 22 minutes, 23 minutes, give or take, and give you guys an update as far as what's happening there. And he'll update it at the top. He'll update it throughout the show as things, as his what's the equipment radar as that kind of comes in and becomes more and more clear as far as what to do. Or maybe he just says, I don't know, 51.49. We'll see what happens there. You got Kiki Hernandez. Enrique is 3.9K versus a lefty. Going to be totally ignored, I suppose. I think it's just the nature of the slate. And also Altuve. Jose Altuve made 4 errors the other day. I don't know if you saw that in one game. Seems hard to do. He's also notorious for smashing lefties for sure. You can play that Houston side. Just that stack in general is going to look pretty solid as well too. It's kind of a pivot away from Coors, maybe a pivot away from the Yankees. It's a big slate, so ownership should not be too high on a guy like Altuve. Talk to me about third base.
Chapman's the top play on the entire slate. Like Chapman's going yard twice today. Really like him at third base. I know he's expensive, but I don't care. I'm playing a ton of him. Escobar is probably a bit too cheap there at 4.2K. Again, I really like that game to go way over, and I think he's going to get a hold of a ball and take one out of the park. Machado right there with him, like 4.4K is way too cheap. Way too cheap. Absolutely just
I like that price.
Yeah, he's been playing well this season, and it's a good matchup. Kelly's really not that great. The dome's open. Everything's going for him. Up there at the top, you got Bregman and Arenado. I have no problem playing them. They're just expensive, and they're probably going to still have a decent amount of ownership. Hunter Dozier, I think, is in the lineup, if I remember correctly. And if we don't have to worry about the weather, he's a good play.
He's batting fourth.
Yeah. So Dozier is a little bit too cheap on both sides. But that's pretty much
it. J-Ram against Nova, who strikes nobody out.
J-Ram's not a bad play. Again, I mentioned Cleveland. It's a good stack, and like most of those guys are way too cheap. But Chapman and Machado are by far my 2 favorite on the slate.
One good thing about that Cleveland stack, you have a ready-made punt catcher. J-Ram, Lindor, Santana, Reyes, and then Leon or something like that. I guess that's kind of sort of somewhat interesting. Anything else that's kind of worth mentioning here as far as third base? I'm sort of scrolling through. Urshela was batting fourth, kind of expensive on DK. I think he's got a good price on FanDuel. I'm not mistaken. Segura 3.5 versus Lockett. I guess you can. Not necessarily something I'm forcing in. I'm trying to see if there's anything else out there that's kind of sort of popping. We don't have Chapman officially in. Maybe presume he's going to be in. I think that's the last line. Nope, we don't have Seattle either. No Seattle and no Oakland. Otherwise, we have every single lineup. Question in chat, Grant. Who is your other starting pitcher besides Valdez? I know starting pitching is kind of a soft spot for you. You're still sort of got those fresh wounds with the Chatwood scratch.
Yeah, it was Chatwood. Over on DK, it's now Howard, Valdez. I will be using Woodruff now because he's got a better shot at the win, and because it's just the pivot I have to make. Savale is probably going to end up in a few of my lineups now. Again, guys, all my lineups are now just entirely dead because I had Chatwood locked in. So I have to make a lot of changes here, and I'm trying to do it on the fly. But Pablo Lopez, Howard, and Valdez and Woodruff are now the top options over on DK. Over on FanDuel, it's Woodruff, it's Valdez, and that's pretty much all we're using there as of right now because I don't have time to change my lineups probably. According
to our chat, some funkiness going on in FanDuel apparently might be down now.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll get a refund for all those Chatwood lineups that I'm not going to be able to change.
Well, I mean, it doesn't start till 6:30, and again, it's just one game. You have an extra half hour, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. According to the chat, the Oakland lineup's out as well too. Hey, chat, feel free to like and subscribe. Do appreciate that. Stay tuned for crunch time about 20 minutes. I lied. You got Tuttle, you got Derek Carty, he of the bat, and you have Kevin Raw talking about some weather. Hit me up as far as we're jumping back to shortstop. What are you doing at shortstop?
Tatis, absolutely love him today. Really, there's 4 shortstops you should be using. I don't care if they're all expensive. It's Story, it's Polanco, it's Tatis, it's Simeon. Those are the only 4 guys you need to use. If you need to go cheap, I think Chris Taylor is in the lineup. It's good weather out in LA. I don't mind the Dodgers here. But Tatis is just going to go yard twice today. And Polanco's too cheap. Simeon is a great way to round out your Oakland stack, which you should be doing. That's really it for me.
Jonathan VR, potential Jack in the Bag candidate, 4.1K and DK.
I do like VR. Again, he's a good guy to throw into your stacks, into your Miami stacks.
Yeah, I don't want to play a full 4 Marlin stack, but if there is some pop in Aguilar's bat, there's some pop in Dickerson's bat, VR as well too. I probably would stop there. I wouldn't get the Joyce. I can't stomach Cervelli. Yeah, maybe 3 man as far as Miami. That's all I can give you. Lindor against Nova, perfectly fine with that as far as that Cleveland mini stack. Do we like the Milwaukee guys now that it's Alec Mills? Still not really. Yelich. I guess we get to the outfield. We can talk about Yelich. He's kind of sort of somewhat interesting. Otherwise, I think you pretty much cover everything else. Seager, of course, is back. He came back last night. He's batting second versus Sandoval, lefty on lefty. Probably wouldn't chase you away if you're on the Dodgers as a full stack. Wouldn't play him as a one-off. Anything else at shortstop that's worth talking about?
Nah.
All right, let's hit up the outfield again. No Judge. You know who's back, though? Alvarez. Jordan Alvarez is back for Houston.
You're down.
Yeah. Are we excited?
You mean the guy with the same WRC plus as Trout last year?
Well, I mean, you're talking small sample sizes, but sure, whatever.
I mean, small sample size of most of the season.
Well, he didn't play the first good portion of it.
Yeah, so most of the season. Literally, he played more games than anyone will play this entire season.
Well, yes, that is a very misleading. It's a true but very misleading stats. Stats can lie sometimes. Yeah, and going forward, I think Mike Trout. You're not suggesting that he's a better baseball player than Mike Trout, or the same as?
No, I'm not, because he can't play defense.
Well,
he could end up being a better hitter than Mike
answer?
Trout, but that's unlikely.
They said thoughts on Alec Mills. He's 8K on DK. 8K. How is he 8K?
I haven't looked at him at all, so I have no idea.
But how is he 8K? Why it's just relief pitcher 8K? How did that happen? Relief pitchers never 8K on DK, are they? I didn't think so. I never looked for them, but I assume they're 4K. I don't know what he is on FanDuel, but I see he's 8K. I cannot talk to that 8K price. No. And I don't know what sort of pitch count he's on, or if he's was ready to go, or if it's a bullpen game.
I can't give any advice.
Yeah, and also the other part of that is I want to see what he picks last.
Or Cardi, or whoever's on there.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on in my ear. I feel like you're jumping all over the place, but let's see. When did he last? Is he not last? The third was the last time he pitched. Is that correct? I don't know. He threw 98 pitches in the third. I don't know if he's pitched since then, but if he's super minimum salary, is that a thing? I just made it up. On FanDuel, I guess he's in the conversation, but I would say there's a huge opportunity cost to pitching, especially on FanDuel when you only have one starting pitcher, so you better get it right because there's going to be several that smash. There's going to be high scores today. Give me some outfielders. Who do we like?
All the Texas outfielders, all of them, literally all of them.
Yeah.
It's that simple. The Colorado outfielders, Blackman and Dahl. Piscotty is a fantastic play, just 3.6K over on DK. Grisham is way too underpriced at 3.6K. Pollock's too cheap at 3.4K. Senzel's too cheap at 3.2K. Nimmo is too cheap at 3.4K. And again, I will be playing a lot of Howard. I'm not sure how much now since I have to redo all my lineups. But like a Met stack is a great leverage stack. They still have a 5 implied team total. I think that they're coming in at sub 4% ownership, which shouldn't happen going up against a rookie pitcher who's going to be chalk. Like that.
Hey, talk to me about that, by the way. Open that up because somebody asked that question in chat. Feel free. I didn't mean to cut you off, but if you can pull up the ownership percentage, what do we have for the ownership on Howard? DK 36%. Specifically.
36%. I don't care. He's far too cheap. Like it's an odds game. More than likely, he's going to give you a score that won't kill you, and he's so cheap that you're happy about it. But there is the off chance, like a guy making his first start, even if he's good, like it's still decent hitting weather. Mets are still a good team. Anything can happen. Literally, McCullers can have negative 10 points when I call it. Suck it, Cardi. But anything can happen with a guy on his first start. It's just that simple. And all of them are coming in at 4% or sub 4% ownership. And they've got a lot of good bats, a lot of far too cheap bats. Nimmo's 3.4K, Conforto's 4K, Smith is 3.5K, Cano's 3.9K, Alonso's under 5, Ramos is a good bat. Like they have good bats in there in the top 6.
He did pitch on the 9th for what it's worth, by the way. He went almost 5, yeah.
Whatever. First, rookies can do anything. I forgot about that. I'm flustered.
So they're asking about the Washington-Baltimore game in chat. They're like, well, when does that game start? There's no real official start time. They're saying, I didn't see this one. This makes sense. So an hour after the game that they're making up as far as the suspension. Well, guess what? Right on cue, the Baltimore-Washington game just ended. So if that is correct, if it's an hour after that game, the first pitch will probably be 7:15. For some reason, FanDuel has that game locking at 6:30. I don't know why. Now we have 15 minutes to get lineups. I don't know if that's going to happen.
FanDuel's down right now, so this is great.
Our pets' heads are falling off. Anything else, Grant?
Please just refund my money, FanDuel. I don't want to play in a world without Tyler Chatwood pitching today.
Garrett Cole, Kershaw. You got, I was going to say Montas. Montas is
Valdez will be the top scoring pitcher on the slate.
Valdez. There's so many good pitchers. Woodruff, Sonny Gray, if the weather is good, he's certainly playable. You can play Lumet. But you're over there lamenting that, what's his name? The guy got scratched, Tyler Chatwood.
Yeah, all right. Bringing that up. Thanks, Dean.
Give me some stacks. Who are we stacking up?
So I'm actually stacking a decent amount of teams. I'm
Oakland?
going to
Oakland is one.
Oakland is my favorite stack on the board outside of maybe the Rangers, but including ownership, Oakland's my favorite stack on the board. I'm going to be stacking up the Mets a decent amount just because. Marlins is a great low-owned stack. Cleveland, they're too cheap and they're kind of easy to stack up outside of Ramirez and Lindor, or certain sites you can throw both those guys in there very easily. Waiting on the weather, but Minnesota's a great stack here. Texas, I'm staying away from the Rockies. Astros are a great stack. Dodgers are a great stack. But my favorite game to stack, like all those are going to be, they're a decent amount of ownership. I'm still going to have a few of them, probably rolling out 25, 30 different lineups today. But the Padres and the Diamondbacks in Oakland are like the 3 top stacks on the slate when you incorporate ownership in. Those are the best ones to go with. Machado, Tatis will probably be heavily owned, but everyone else in the lineup, a lot of other guys have some pop. Dome's open. Like, stack up that game. Stack up Oakland today.
Give me 3 homers. Who's going yard?
Chapman's going yard twice. I'm trying. Machado's
I don't count
going
as
yard.
one person. Though. Give me 2 more guys. If you can get
Machado's going yard twice, and Aguilar's going yard twice.
Grant, we're going to get you out of here a minute early so you can figure out what's going on with your lineups. Leave the people with a healthy word of advice. Enjoy your lady friend. Hopefully she's impressed by your sandwich, amongst other things. Anything else?
Is that innuendo there?
Didn't say what kind of sandwich it was. Give us something for the road, Grant. You got to close strong. What is
Valdez is going for 35 DK points today.
There you go. All right, people. like, subscribe, stay tuned for Crunch Time. Roth will tell you what's going on weather-wise. Tuttle will tell you what to do as far as your lineups, as will Cardi. Maybe they'll agree, maybe they won't. He was Grant. He was razzled. He was frazzled. He was thrown off the entire time. But let's get him out of here. Let him make his lineups. You guys out there, like, subscribe. Much appreciated. Thank you, Devin, for producing the show. I was Dean. That was baseball. We're out of here. Holler.
See you, kids.